Hello everyone, welcome to ARPF Finances Simplex. Let's talk about the topic of paying taxes. If you're watching this video, it's because you've searched for Binance Tax and you want to roughly calculate how much you've earned or lost with crypto in order to file your country's tax return. Well, you should keep in mind that Binance Tax no longer works, alright? As you can see on the screen, you search for Binance Tax, we go in and it says Tax Tool Update. The tax tool is no longer available. From now on, if you want to view and export your transaction history for tax filing, we recommend you use the transaction history feature. Basically, it's just the regular transaction history, okay? So you go, or if it's Binance, go to transaction history. If it's any other exchange, it's the same. You go to transaction history, all right? Binance Tax has been removed because it caused a lot of problems and errors with tax filings and all that. And apparently they got overwhelmed, got tired of the issue, and since they weren't making any money from it, they just got rid of it, and now everyone has to manage on their own, okay? But you'll see that it's very simple. We don't need this application to calculate what we actually have to declare, all right? We're in 2025. In every country, when you file a tax return, it's usually for the previous year. That is, if we're in 2025, what we're going to submit are the gains or losses we've had from trading crypto in 2024. And for that, what do? We go here and check the dates. All right. We go to custom and select the dates. As you can see here, it says select your time range within the 12 months. In other words, the calendar year, which is what is usually used for tax declarations. All right. So let's suppose we want to declare for 2024. We change the year. All right. We go to 2024, we go to January, and we select the first day. All right. And the end date will be the 31st. This is important, don't get it wrong, all right? December 31st, 2024. This is the calendar year, okay, that we're going to use for tax purposes. We're going to click continue. And here, nothing appears because this is a demo account. But basically, here you'll see a bunch of records with all the transactions you've made. A lot, or maybe just 2 or 3, depending on how many transactions you did in 2024. But everything will show up here, your purchases and your sales. So what do? First of all, what we're interested in, simply and easily, are the sales that were closed in 2024. All the sales that appear here as closed in 2024, we're going to copy them into a Word document. For those of you who use Excel, and good for you, it's much better. But if you don't know how to use Excel and don't want to stress over unnecessary things, this is very easy. We're going to use a Word document. We open a Word document, go to the top tab, which you can't see here because my screen cuts it off, but next to File, Home, there's Insert Table, and we select Insert Table and set it to 7 columns. Okay? You see here, 7 columns. And the number of rows depends on how many sales you have. If you estimate you have 15 sales, then 15 rows. 20 sales, 20 rows, 10, 10, 2, 2. All right? And we click Accept. And now the columns appear here. Very good. What do we do next? First column, Exchange. This is especially important if you use different exchanges. If not, if you do everything on the same platform, then it doesn't matter. You get it? There's no need to make an exchange column, just one less column. Very good. Exchange. Crypto. All right. Purchase date. Purchase price. Sale date and sale price. All right then, is that all right? And in the end, the most important thing is the net amount. The net, the very neat and tidy net. The net amount is the total clean amount that we have remaining and available. It can be positive, it can be negative, but it's the final result of the transaction. All right? So we're going to go to our exchange because they all work the same way. In every exchange, if you go to the dashboard or the transaction history, you'll see all the transactions you've made during the year, okay? We go to the screen here and you start reading. Nothing shows up here, but you'll see it on yours. Just keep reading. You take all the sales and write them down. First of all, we're interested in taking the sales from 2024, all right? And we go here. Let's imagine, well, the exchange, let's say Binance, the crypto, Bitcoin. The purchase date doesn't matter to us right now. Purchase price doesn't matter to us right now. Sale date. So this is precisely what we are keenly interested in, okay? The sale date, the very first. Let's imagine it is indeed the 1st of May in the year 2024, of course, okay? The sale price, we have successfully sold Bitcoin. How much was the entire transaction for in total? Not the actual sale price of Bitcoin itself, but how much was paid for it. All right? This is important to keep in mind because the actual price of the token doesn't matter to us. What we want to know is how much we've sold it for. So let's suppose we've sold Bitcoin for 1,000 euros, okay? Bitcoin has reached $100,000 and we had a certain amount of Bitcoins that gave us, say, 1,000 euros or $1,000. All right? Okay, so we have $1,000 in Bitcoin. All right, 1,000 euros, whatever you prefer. Very well. Now, what I want to know is date of purchase. When was it bought? Well, here's where it gets tricky. You have to go into the transaction history of the token to see if you can find it, because not everything works the same way on all exchanges. Go to the line where it appears and click on it to see if the purchase date shows up. If it doesn't show up, you'll have to start going back and looking for older transactions by going back through previous years, just like we did before. We'll click here, go to custom, and go back to 2024, 2023, 2022, as far back as the exchange allows. All right, okay? Once we successfully locate the precise purchase date, we then proceed to navigate to this specific section. We meticulously input the exact purchase date. For instance, let's consider April 2nd, 2021, merely as an illustrative example, right? At that particular moment in time, I acquired a total of $100 worth of Bitcoin, okay? All right, so we've bought $100 in Bitcoin. I've already told you that the price doesn't matter to us, okay? What we want to know is how much money we invested in Bitcoin when we bought $100. How much money did we get in Bitcoin when we sold $1,000? This is just an example, okay? I know it hasn't fluctuated like this, but it's just so you understand. All right, so what is the net result of the final transaction? How much have we earned with Bitcoin? Well, in this case, when we bought Bitcoin in 2021, it cost us, we invested $100, and when we sold it in 2024, we got $1,000 from the sale, so you have to subtract the purchase price from the final sale price, and that leaves us with a net gain of $900, okay? The same principle applies universally to all cryptocurrencies. For instance, I don't know, XRP, for example, the precise purchase date was it's always going to be specifically the 2nd, or more precisely the 5th of June in the year 2024. And we initially bought a substantial $1,000 worth of XRP, then we subsequently sold it on the 8th of June in the year 2024. But we were compelled to sell it because its value dramatically dropped, I don't know, to approximately $700, and consequently we experienced a financial loss of $300. So then we take the 700, right? Which is the final amount we got for them, and we subtract the 1,000, leaving us with minus $300. And this is what you have to declare, meaning when you file your tax return, it will say capital gain such and such. You will have to, it depends, each country works differently, but if they ask you for the total gain, that is the total operations of your cryptocurrency investments, what you'll have to do is, well, I made 900 with Bitcoin, but I lost 300 with XRP. In total, with all my cryptocurrency transactions, I made $600, and you will declare a total gain of $600. If in your country you are required to declare it individually, then you would state with Bitcoin we made 900, but with XRP we lost 300. And you put this on your taxes, and normally, depending on the country, they will offset one against the other. And that's it, there's no more to it. What matters to us are the sale amounts and the purchase amounts, not how much the coin was valued at that moment or how it was valued before. That doesn't matter to us when it comes to declaring taxes, okay? Unless something more detailed is required and they ask for it, but if not, this process is more than enough. It's a bit of a hassle because you have to spend some time on it, but it's the only thing we can do since Binance Tax, with all the errors and problems it's had, and now that Binance has gotten tired of it and removed it, for now it won't be available, so we have no choice but to do it in a simple and straightforward way. Let's continue.